Good day. This is Cast Iron ASMR with the color comics, the Sunday Funnies. This is the Saturday Funnies. It's the funny papers from August 10th, Saturday, 1974. Yeah, I just found this comic section, and antique type store. They had a bunch of papers. I said, hey, look at, they had a bunch of the Vancouver Sun. And they had some of the Province. These were the two major newspapers in British Columbia, Canada. I paid $1. He wanted like $10 to $15 for the papers. Most of them were from the 50s. The Moon Launch and such. I was like, oh, okay, well, I don't want to pay that. They said, oh, this must have fallen out. So, growing up, I didn't buy many comic books. I didn't have the money for that. But I read comic strips. When you got the paper, it would be thick. The weekend one would be bigger than this one. But you take it in like that, and then this would slip out. Whoosh. So let's take a look here. I read them. I read these just since I've got them. So the Vancouver Sun and the rival paper, the Province, had the color comics. And I liked the Sun better. No, I liked the Province better. But the Sun was pretty good. We got the Peanuts here. Featuring good old Charlie Brown and Snoopy. Snoopy's doing a puppet show of the Old Testament. And here's Lucy. She's like, what's he doing? And Charlie Brown, good old Charlie Brown, warns Lucy, you better watch out for the next scene. What's the next scene? Splash. It was the parting of the Red Seas. Good grief. All right. I find this unique. It says 25 cents in the corner. This was before my time. Maybe they also sold them. Maybe it wasn't a part of the paper at that time. I'm not sure. Let's take a look at what we got. This one here. Carrie Drake. I've never seen this comic. Looks in the style of like the soap opera ones, like Rex Morgan, MD, Sally Forth. Is that one of those? But this guy, I believe this guy's a detective or maybe a private eye. Because they're looking for clues. A couple of theater stubs, a pack of gum. Nothing very revealing. A matchbook and a scrap of paper. This coat. You know, how many clues have been found from a pack of matches? It's like the go-to. Sun coming in. Oranges, bananas, grapes. And then there was something written on the back of this slip, the store sale slip, from Mom's Place. Antiques of Distinction. The thing. I always thought soap opera comics were so fun. Because if you read them, you gotta read them for a while to know what the heck's going on. We don't know what the whole thing is all about. And that's the fun of it, I suppose. And there was this one. I never heard of this one either. Grin and Barrett. Everything looks so good, I hardly know what to take. It looks like it's these two guys in different situations. It's the usual after a pop festival. Tin cans, bottles, garbage, trash, and leaflets denouncing pollution. Here we've got a joke about women's liberation. Talk of the time. Look at this 2-page spread. Here we've got the comics. Nice full-page Archie by Bob Montana. He was the original artist in the comics. He went on to do the comic strips, the papers. Here we've got Walt Disney's Scamp. I'm aware of this because I have a couple Scamp comic books. And that's The Lady and the Tramps. They had a bunch of puppies, but that's the little Scamp. It's a cute little comic about a mouse. He's in trouble because of the pussycat. It's not very funny, but it's cute. Fred Bassett, do you know that one? This continued on to one when I was reading. Not this one, Archie, yes. He was a Basset Hound. And I believe their owners, I don't think they had any kids. He's going to wake them up because they can't miss it. The Fantastic Sunrise. You know I'm a fan of the Archies. This is a good one. You know why? Because it's about laundry. I'm also a fan of laundry and comics about laundry. Mr. Andrews, Fred Andrews. Like, where are all my clean shirts? But the washing machine is broken. Well, why don't you wash it by hand? Why don't you wash it by hand? Well, I get that deadbeat son of ours to take it to the laundromat. And I found this curious. He called it the laundromat. Laundra. Not laundro. Laundry. It's not the laundromat. You want me to do the wash? At the laundromat. My washing machine is broken. So he's carrying it down the street. I guess his jalopy is broken. Jug's looking out the window. And you know, from other stories, I just thought of this right now. Jughead did live on the second floor kitty. And so now he gets kicked out. He's like, oh, he's joking. Santa Claus, you're early. Like, Jug, stop being a joker. Why don't you help me? So Jug's got some stuff to throw in the laundry with him. Look at this. Look at this old coot. He works at the laundromat. And what's Archie doing? He's like, is this detergent less than 8% phosphate? Maybe you'd like me to analyze the water. Here's the measuring cup, Jug. Oh, you're supposed to measure? He's just dumping it in. Cat. where you put so much soap in that the whole laundromat, room, wherever you are, is overflowing with bubbles. Call the police. Like the police are already there. Oh no, put on the brakes. I did, we're sliding. Then they get a phone call. $2,000 to fit your washer? No, 25 washers. Oop. All right, what more comics do we have? Oh, here we got Broomhilda. Do you remember Broomhilda, the witch? She was green. Witches, I think, were green more often. I'm trying to think if Aunt Hilda. I think it's some of the earlier ones, like Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I think the aunts might have been green in the beginning. We've got some. So this, yeah, Broomhilda. It's kind of even hard to see that. See Irwin's Hair Impressions of Famous People. So this is Irwin. He's kind of like it from the Addams Family. This one's funny. So the first impression of hair. Dagwood Bumstead. Clint Eastwood. Phyllis Diller. Yul Brynner. Yul Brynner? Yul Brynner. I recognize that name, Yul Brynner. Isn't he like the football player or coach? He must have been a player back then. This is 74. Tumbleweeds. I do remember Tumbleweeds. This one, the Undertaker's trying to sell, or no, it's a giant giveaway. And he's giving away personalized t-shirts. And it's just your plot number. 67. Your plot number smartly emblazoned upon the front. But it's not doing so hot. Alright, we got a family circus. It's the classic. Billy's not walking home, but they're at the drive-in movie. And there's just a whole bunch of speech bubbles. It's all the kids. Look at them. Eyes. They just won't stop talking. I forgot. Do I like French fries or not? Poor dad's just trying to get some snacks. Get back to the movie. But the kids are just being kids. I don't know, this one is Sunday Comics. Gahan Wilson? It's kind of funny. This guy's going into the restaurant. There's this sketchy guy behind the door. Psst, he's got a steak. But it's not him saying psst, it's the steak. So, it's kind of funny. Yeah, I didn't know the Sunday Funnies one. Sunday Comics. Which is funny because it's in the Saturday paper. So the Vancouver Sun published on Saturday and the other paper did not. And then the other paper, the Province, would publish on Sunday. And the Vancouver Sun wouldn't. So each weekend day, you would get your color comics. But it was the Province that had Calvin and Hobbes. And sometimes, I think how it worked with the syndication of the comic section, that you would pay separately for the colored weekend comics because I can't remember which one at this time, but sometimes, like say in the Sun here, like maybe they got the peanuts here, but they don't carry the weekly peanuts. But that wasn't the case because the peanuts was, I believe, in the Sun. Dooley's World. I don't know this Dooley's World. I think, I just read this when I got it. It seems like they're all the toys, and the toys, they talk and act and stuff. He's like a Jack in the Box, or a Charlie in the Box, a little toy soldier. There's a mouse. It's animal crackers. Just trying to get the elephant there. I remember animal crackers. It was okay. Next, okay, here's some I don't know. Well, here's one I don't know. I'd never heard of Conchi before. It's a funny name for a comic. He doesn't even have, well, I guess kind of like the tumbleweeds there. It's just typed. And this one's about the government. I think they're like, I don't know, they're on an island. They're the natives of this island, I suppose. And 55% of the people didn't know there was even a government. He had done a poll. Nancy, there's classic Nancy. I like Nancy. I like the simplistic illustrations. What was his? Oh, I remember this. This is they're fighting over whose dog is better. My dog can do dozens of tricks, so can mine. Your dog is dumb. And like you can do all this stuff, but then she says, my dog can breed, because they look outside, and her dog doesn't walk in the wet cement. It's walking along and then over. And here's something that I recall. So here was a story about dogs, or dog, and then in this one, Dennis the Menace. It's all about Dennis the Menace's dog, just in this one comic. And sometimes I would find, like, they're not talking to each other, but like by coincidence or by the like, yeah, rough fetch. And I think even Dennis's friend there is like, your dog's stupid. Yeah, he's saying, do all this stuff. Come on, shake hands, play dead. Speak, boy. Yeah, the exact same words. He's sure dumb. What do you mean, dumb? He's smart enough not to let people boss him around. That was kind of funny. I actually chuckled out loud when I heard that. But yeah, so if you're Ernie Bushmiller or Hank Ketchum, you're a cartoonist. You know, you sit around your house, you gotta draw all these comics, so you just gotta work with what you're doing in your life. So you got a dog. I also remember like how maybe you'd read Conchi and then you'd read Animal Crackers, and a theme that would always happen would be golfing. I think cartoonists often would be golfers, and that would bleed into the comics more than once. Oh yeah, here's a special. These weren't continuing when I was reading the funnies, but Little Orphan Annie. I've mentioned before that I thought, like, I would have seen some comics. Maybe I did see some. I didn't like how Annie's eyeballs were in her dog. There'd be no pupils. They kind of look like zombies. It's kind of cool, actually. And I guess this little Annie, little orphan Annie comics, they must have continued too, because this one, and then there are a lot more, I don't know, with murder than I thought. These guys are talking, this guy's fixing her shoe or something, and then on the other side, on the east side, in the back in a dark back room, these guys are talking about, sending this guy to be swimming with the fishes. And then they're like, do him with a knife. Anyway, I don't know. So that was kind of like that, and then there's this strip at the bottom here. It's different. Anyway, it's pretty cool. And then Tarzan, we got the big Tarzan page. These would continue as well. I didn't actually read this one, I don't think. I just got this. Or I started to. He's got a sword. Don't remember Tarzan having a sword. Tarzan, of course. Created by Edgar Rice Burroughs. Kind of like, who's that other guy? There was a few of those. Prince Valiant. If you had a whole book of them, a whole book of Tarzans, it would be cool. But you need a lot of colored comics to get the story going. Okay. Never heard of this one. We got a fancy logo. It's Kelly. Kind of looks like a rock and roll logo. Should be on like a rock shirt. Actually, if you look at it like closely enough and long enough, you can't even see that it's words. You know what? I passed by this one too. Wait, why does that dog look so big? Is Kelly the dog? Why don't you get up? Why should I get up? It's a letter for you. Oh good, it's my license. Now his dog license. Calling him a fool. The fools. Looks like he grew, but I think he's in the foreground. We've got some hard-hitting sports columns. Jim Taylor, Jim Kearney, Alan Faulkner. Living today, it's your life. All right, but here's what we like. It's the Blondie. By Young and Raymond. Oh, this one's good. Blondie's always good. He's up. He's not having a nap today because he just found this hat, this cap. He's always wanted one like that. You know those caps. The front goes down. I don't know what you call those things. I see some people wearing those. If you're wearing one of those, though, it's kind of like you're. Not that you're making a statement, but you're definitely making sort of a statement. Nowadays. Seems like even back then, it's like, where's your fedora there, Dagwood? People used to wear hats a lot more. Construction workers are like, hey. So he buys it. first like Yahoo on the street. Oh no, wait, he knows him, but he's still a Yahoo. Where'd you get that goofy looking cap? Here's a little kid. Oh, it's Leroy. Maybe that's Veronica's cousin Leroy. Leroy, it's not nice to point like that. These people come out of the billiards hall just to give him a hard time. Hey, Dagwood. The flying saucer just landed on your head. Construction workers chime in. And even his neighbor. Hey, Gatsby. You're going in the wrong house. Wise guy. That's how he gets inside. There's his loving wife, Blondie. She looks at him a little stark. She takes the hat, walking outside, straight into the trash can. She walks in. And Dagwood says, At least she didn't say anything insulting. So apparently people don't like those type of hats. And then the comic section ends with, yes, Rex Morgan, MD. And they're driving. I don't know if that's... Is this Rex? She doesn't understand grown-ups. Something about marrying something. He's having a smoke. Puts it out. He's talking to June. These two, she wants to get married. I think he does. I did read it. Anyway, yeah, that was the comic section from Saturday, August 10th, 1974. Yeah, what do you think? That's pretty cool. Carrie Drake, yeah. Something I didn't know. I like the Archie one. Fred Bassett's alright. Look at the cool little title up at the top there. You got Archie and Veronica and Archie's Jalopy. And there's Riverdale High School.